Hello, and welcome to Dig a Podcast, a show that tells the in-depth story behind the songs of the greatest band that is, was, and ever will be, the Beatles. In this season, Season 1, we will explore the Beatles' first LP, Introducing the Beatles, or our UK listeners would know it as Please Please Me. Introducing the Beatles was originally scheduled for a July 1963 release, but came out on the 10th of January 1964 on VJ Records, whereas Please Please Me was released on the 23rd of March 1963 on EMI's Parlophone label. The next record on the Introducing the Beatles LP is
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Baby, It's You. The Beatles had a special love for the music of girl groups of the early 60s. When in a pinch for time in the final 3 hours of recording of their first album, they hurriedly chose some cover tunes which they particularly loved and enjoyed playing. Out of the 6 cover songs they recorded for their first album, 3 were girl group songs, 2 of which were originally performed by the Shirelles. This time around they chose to record not a B-side like Boys, but a well-known top 10 hit that they had been performing for about a year on their stage act. Songwriting history. The statement that the Beatles recorded music by Burt Bacharach would most likely be greeted with a response that includes laughter. Avid Beatle fans, on the other hand, would know otherwise. No, the Beatles did not record a rendition of Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head, but the same composer happened to co-write the classic Shirelles hit Baby It's You, which reached number 8 on the Billboard charts in February of 1962. In actuality, Burt Bacharach has had and continues to have an impressive and long-standing career as an award-winning pianist, arranger, conductor, producer, and composer. He is most known for his co-writing partnership with lyricist Hal David, with whom he had written an impressive amount of hits throughout the 60s, many of which were recorded by Dionne Warwick. As a songwriter, he has racked up an impressive total of 70 top 40 hits in the US. After studying music at McGill University, the Maine School of Music, and the Music Academy of the West, Bacharach became the bandleader, pianist, and arranger for Marlene Dietrich throughout the 50s and early 60s. Like Jerry Goffin and Carole King, he joined the Brill Building team of songwriters in 1957 and was teamed up with lyricist Hal David. Success came quickly with their first US hit, The Story of My Life, which was the first hit by country star Marty Robbins. This song reached number 15 on the Billboard Pop chart as well as number 1 on the country and western charts in the US. His hit-writing fortunes became quite abundant throughout the late 50s and early 60s, co-writing hits for Perry Como, Johnny Mathis, Etta James, and many others. In late 1961, Bacharach had arranged and co-written the song Baby It's You for the popular girl group the Shirelles, which was one of only 4 songs he ever worked on with them, and 2 of these songs went unreleased. His attention turned quickly to writing many other hits for other artists throughout the next few years, but especially focused his attention on a demo singer and sometime replacement singer for the Shirelles named Dionne Warwick. When she was used by Bacharach to sing a demo version of the song Make It Easy on Yourself, she was discouraged to find that the song was intended for Jerry Butcher and not for herself. She exclaimed, "Don't make me over, man," which inspired Bacharach and Hal David to write the song Don't Make Me Over, which in turn became Warwick's first top 40 hit. This began a string of 22 top 40 hits for Warwick on the Billboard pop charts from 1962 to 1972, mostly written by Bacharach and David, including Make It Easy on Yourself. After continuing to write for the likes of Gene Pitney, Bobby Vee, Brooke Benton, The Drifters, and many others, he also began to concentrate on a solo career in 1965, as well as movie scores. His movie soundtracks included What's New Pussycat, After the Fox, Casino Royale, and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Broadway scores also came his way, such as the Broadway hit Promises, Promises, the title track of which also became another Dionne Warwick hit. After working with many other artists, Herb Alpert, B.J. Thomas, The Fifth Dimension, and The Carpenters, to name a few, as well as more movie soundtracks such as Arthur, Night Shift, and Arthur 2 on the Rocks, Bacharach continues his ascent to icon status throughout the 70s and the 80s. The 90s saw him collaborate with London-born Elvis Costello, also a McCartney collaborator, in the late 80s, on a successful and Grammy Award-winning album, Painted from Memory. The Bacharach name continues to be known to younger generations through his references and appearances in the Austin Powers movies, as well as a comedic television commercials. Add to this his continued recording career and world touring schedule, Burt Bacharach has provided to be one of the most respected names in the music business. Lyricist Hal David also boasts quite an impressive career, although it is not Hal that we are concerned with here, as many Beatles books would have you believe. Hal's older brother, Mac David, is the actual co-lyricist of the song Baby It's You. After Mac seriously contemplated becoming an attorney, attending both Cornell University and St. John's University Law School, he abandoned that goal to follow his dream of songwriting and took up the profession at New York's Tin Pan Alley in the 40s. He previously had advised his brother Hal not to pursue a songwriting career, but luckily, for history's sake, both brothers gave in to their songwriting passion. Mac's success started as early as 1939 with the Glenn Miller hit Moon Love, and continued throughout the 40s with songs performed by Duke Ellington, such as I'm Just a Lucky So-and-So. In 1950 he moved to Hollywood and became active in songwriting for television and movies. He boasts a good number of songwriting credits for Disney animated movies, such as A Dream is a Wish Your Heart Makes, and the Academy Award-winning Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, both from Cinderella, as well as the Unbirthday Song from Alice in Wonderland. He continued to be nominated for Academy Awards, 8 total, for his work with feature films, which includes The Hanging Tree, Bachelor in Paradise, It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, and Cat Ballou. And with songwriting partner Jerry Livingston, Mac wrote a number of successful theme songs for television shows such as Casper the Friendly Ghost, 77 Sunset Strip, Hawaiian Eye, as well as the song This Is It, which was used in the 60s Saturday morning show The Bugs Bunny Hour. Mac was privileged to have one of his songs recorded by both of the biggest recording artists in music history. In addition to the Beatles' rendition of his Baby It's You, Elvis Presley did a rockabilly cover of his song I Don't Care If the Sun Don't Shine in 1954 on one of his legendary Sun Records releases, which was originally released by Patti Page in 1950. Mac David's career was honoured by him being inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame in 1975, which followed his brother Hal's being inducted in 1972. Mac died on December 30th, 1993, at his home in Rancho Mirage, California. Barney Williams was the brother of Luther Dixon, a successful songwriter, co-composer of Boys, which is also contained on this album, and the manager of artist development for Skepta Records, which was the label that released the original version of Baby It's You by the Shirelles. Barney was hired as a promo man for Skepta Records, and was responsible for rewriting the original lyrics for the Bacharach David song I'll Cherish You. Barney was therefore the man who transformed the song into the title Baby It's You, as well as rewriting some of the other lyrics. As an interesting footnote, there exists a version of the song recorded by Tommy Hunt with the original lyrics, although this has never been officially released. The Shirelles' version of the song was their 6th American Top 40 pop hit on the Billboard charts, as well as their 4th Top 10, peaking at number 8 on the pop charts and number 3 on the R&B chart. The Shirelles' lead vocalist, Shirley Owens, overdubbed her voice over the backing track of the original demo that was recorded under the supervision of Burt Bacharach. Owens was the only other member of the Shirelles to appear on the song, which consists of Bacharach himself on background vocals. Recording history. As for the Beatles version, this was the next to last song recorded during the landmark one-day recording session held on February 11th, 1963. 3 takes were recorded live with no overdubs. One of these was a full start, approximately between 9:30 and 10 p.m. during the evening session. Take 3 was the complete version that was used for the album. As for the other 10 songs recorded on this day, no mixes were done of the song at the end of the session. But there was an additional reason why this wasn't done on this day. Something additional needed to be done for the solo portion of the song. George Martin rose to the task of an overdub session held 9 days later, on February 20th, 1963, while the Beatles were on their national tour with Helen Shapiro. After overdubbing himself, playing the piano edit pieces for the song Misery, Martin added 2 overdubs of himself playing Celeste, on top of George Harrison's guitar notes during the solo session of Baby It's You. The Celeste is a piano-like instrument, which is usually of 4 octaves, that transposes the notes 1 octave higher when played. It consists of a keyboard that triggers hammers to strike a graduated set of metal plates suspended over wooden resonators. After 2 Celeste overdubs, 1 for each solo phrase, Martin also attempts a piano overdub during one session of the song. It is undetermined what section of the song the piano part was played in, because he decided not to use this overdub in the song after all. Take 6 of the song, which contains the piano overdub, has never officially been released to the public. Take 5 became the approved complete version, which contained both Celeste overdubs. 5 days later, on February 25th, George Martin, along with engineers Norman Smith and A.B. Lincoln, performed both the mono and stereo mixes for the album, which contained Baby It's You. Once again, the Beatles were not present as they were still on tour and did not participate in mixing sessions until much later in their career. Take 5 of the master tape was used to create both mono and stereo mixes. Thanks for listening to Dig a Podcast. You can subscribe to our podcast on Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any other podcasting platform. This has been a Team Wilco production. Until next time, if you know what I mean. See what I did? No? Okay.